It's so funny to me that we are still using, like, they invented, like, the optical disc or CDs or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Even before that, Laserdisc. And that has worked, and we're still using that. You know what I mean? Like, just, like, bouncing light off of a reflective thing is still, like, a worthy thing.
A
Like, we're
viable
doing that.
resource.
Isn't that weird?
I would feel like
That's such a
they
weird
should start
process.
selling stuff on, like, thumb drives.
You would think, but it's still not quite cost effective. I mean, a disc is, I guess, is just a sliver of plastic.
Yeah.
Versus, you know,
True.
but
yeah,
It's weird.
I'm in the same. It's weird because if I spend $60, I want a physical thing for no reason. Like, there's no reason for me to want this thing. I just do. And like, yeah, that disc, even though it costs 10 cents to make that disc,
Yeah.
you know, like, I don't know what that is. Like,
I personally think it's important to have a hard copy of everything that you like, because if you rely on streaming or cloud services to provide you with your content, you're under the mercy of the people who put that content
which
up
happened
there.
with me,
Yeah.
King of the Hill. I stopped buying the DVDs,
Yeah.
which they
Yeah,
stopped
exactly.
releasing,
Like
actually. But
Netflix,
now I can watch it.
Netflix is awesome, and I know so many people who are like, why buy DVDs, why buy Blu-rays if you have Netflix? But it's like,
In 20 years.
yeah, they're constantly taking movies off of Netflix.
yeah,
and
they did
wiping
this
it.
month big time.
And
too.
there's so many movies that I want to watch that just aren't up there, and if
Yeah.
I
And there's
own
some,
them, that's
like,
true
the
convenience.
Lord of the Rings or Star Wars will never be on Netflix. They don't need to be on Netflix. You know, like, it's just like.
But even if they were too, on top of that though, I just want to own the thing. Yeah, if it's something I'm that diehard about,
Sure.
Yeah.
I want this right here and ain't
Yeah.
going nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just feel like these intangible, I don't even know what to call them. Just these cloud services that contain all these forms of medium. I don't feel like they're very permanent. Like they're here for
Yeah.
now, but they might not be here forever. There's so many pictures that were stored on the internet for me that I've lost over the past 10 years simply because I didn't have a hard copy, and I thought that they'd be available forever, but they weren't. You know, like all the stuff you put on MySpace, all that shit was all wiped recently, and there's just like a lot of pictures and stuff like that up there.
Yeah, and no one's contesting the convenience of the digital services and stuff. I mean, like I said, I have Netflix and use it for bad TV shows and have them on my iPad as I'm working on stuff all day, you know, like, or whatever.
I think
and
it's great for
it's
entertainment.
fantastic.
Yeah,
It's great for entertainment.
It's fantastic, but yeah,
But as like an archive system,
Discovering
it's no good.
I'll
discovering
always
new
want-
stuff is great on there, but like really digging into a classic that you really like, one of your
Yeah,
favorites.
and like
I like owning it.
there are NES games that are great that are only available on the cartridge, and
Yeah.
you need that old technology and that cartridge to play them.
Sure.
I was going to say I was really happy that they changed their mind on Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes is coming out in March, and they weren't going to do a physical release for the new consoles.
Yeah, they didn't
It was
announce
going to
that
be
at
just a
first.
big ass download for those, and then they went back and like again, that's the thing. It's like I don't know if this will work in 20 years. Let me just. So this is one of my favorite series ever. I just want the disc so that I know in 20 years
Yeah, you can go back to it
somewhere.
and
I'll have a PS4 that will play a disc.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just like
like-
that's something I want.
Like North and South.
Yeah.
You're not playing that unless you got it saved. the
There's
way it was when it
emulation,
came
but
out.
it's just not the same. When you have
Yeah,
the
that's
ability
what
to
you
set
did
up a
earlier.
CRT television with an old console and have the controller in your hand with a cartridge, like
But even then, sometimes it's hard to find down emulators.
yeah,
Track them
sure.
down.
But also too, I don't mind digital for some things though. Again, that's Metal Gear. That's
Yeah.
important to me.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want
yeah,
a
yeah.
copy. But you know, PS3 had Super Rub-a-Dub. I don't mind that being a download. Oh man, 20 years from
Yeah.
now, hey, Super Rub-a-Dub doesn't
God,
work.
that's still
oh
on
man,
my,
life goes on.
That's
You
still
don't
on
need
my
everything.
console.
You know, exactly. So it's give and take. But that was something I want. I
Sean,
wanted a
you ever
copy.
play Super Rub-a-Dub?
He did.
Hell yeah, dude.
This guy was a fucking
You actually did.
rubbed-up
We all
bastard.
did. didn't
Yeah,
you?
we all did. Yeah.
I still have that on
It's
my
funny that
console.
the when we moved to our first studio, I stopped playing a lot of video games because
Wow.
I would always play at Rocco's house while
Yeah.
we were editing, and we just sit there and I would play whatever shitty Geometry Wars or Marble Blast Ultra, whatever game was
so
there.
much Marble
Yeah.
Blast Ultra.
Oh yeah, so
But it was
good.
that was the era. It was when
Super
we
jump.
edited a lot in my room. It was like 2005 to 2007, and the PS3 came out, but only had kind of iffy downloads. Like there was no big game.
Calling
on
all cars.
So we played.
Love that
Love
game.
Calling All
That's
Cars.
such a fucking awesome game.
Yeah.
Calling All Cars,
David Jaffe.
Super Rub-a-Dub,
Yeah.
and like on the Xbox, the Marble Blast Ultra. We were focused on like breaking records on that.
Which
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
while I had the #1 record on level 4. That was me.
Yeah.
That was the only
That's
time.
this guy.
That was the only time I ever paid attention to like leaderboards and stuff on Xbox Live because I would go home after hanging out with you guys and try to beat all your high scores.
Yeah. Do you know Marble Blast Ultra is delisted? Somebody brought it up in the chat. It's delisted. Is not available anymore.
What?
Microsoft had this
Only
whole.
you had a hard copy.
Microsoft.
Yeah, really?
wants-
Does it still work
There
if
you
you have
go.
it downloaded?
If you own it, I believe.
Yeah, okay.
But,
And it is a iOS, like, pretty damn good version on iOS.
There is?
Yeah,
Oh, I need to
I've
get
had
that.
it for years.
I gotta get that.
But they have a certain look and a certain whatever they want for their Xbox Live arcade games.
Yes.
And these games that have like blue menus that look like like kind
Shit.
of old, they won't allow those anymore.
Wow. Update it.
I was at I have to be careful of saying who it was or whatever. I don't want to whatever, but I got to go to a meeting when I was in Japan, probably 2008 or 9. I got to go to a meeting. Some people I know were going to some big thing at a game developer's office. They were showing some new games they were working on. And it was like, oh, cool. Okay, yeah, I'll tag along. I'd never get to see, I like to do stuff that it's like, you can't buy a ticket to this. You know what I mean? It's like a game studio is having a big board meeting, in Japan. It's Japanese people talking about this game they came up with. And I got to go and tag along to this meeting. They were just looking for advice on the title. And what they think. And I was with some people who were very familiar with Xbox Live, and we went and sat in on this meeting, and they were like, "Okay, this is a new puzzle game. It's a completely new puzzle game we invented." And they showed it, and it was actually a fun game. I don't remember. I can't really describe how to play it. But, whatever, it's flipping blocks and stuff, whatever. Anyway, but all the everything, it was like on a blue background, and the menus were just blue with white Arial text. And whatever. And so they were like, yeah, so what do you think of it? And it was just like, hey, it's fun, but this is dead now. Like, this won't, unless you reinvent how it looks, they'll never accept
The market won't
And that was the first I had
process
ever heard of it. It was just like, wait, what? And they're like, yeah, Microsoft won't take it if it looks like my first PC game, or whatever. Just visually, it's eliminated now. Like, you have to, and I don't think it ever came out because
Gotta
they
look
were
good,
like,
gotta look hot.
they were going to have to redraw the whole thing and do all this stuff that they were like, I don't know, this is worth it. But that was crazy. And I sat in that meeting. It was really awkward because it was just like,
I don't know if it's worth it.
yeah,
Of course it's fucking worth it.
Nah, just give up.
Take your project to the end, bitches.
But anyway, it was just.
I was at
crazy.
the boardroom. That's what I told him. So
Good.
you can thank me
Yeah.
when the game comes out.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
was I
I'll thank you
that's
now.
good
Thank you.
advice, but
thank you.
Anyway, but yeah, Marble Blast Ultra no longer around. It is on iOS. Mega Marble.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
I do.
Anyway, so we played a lot of those games. That was a lot of fun during that era. Of course, I'm also happy that PS3 got real games later, but I do miss
Sure.
that era
Yeah, of
just for
course.
the fact that we were playing. Anyway, I'd be curious about that podcast question of the week. I think should be, well, first of all, email us podcast@mega64.com. What's your status? Are you going all digital? Do you like having a physical copy, or do you not give a shit?
What do you think?
What's your plan with that? And I was talking with my brother about this the other day, actually.
Yeah.
It's funny that this came up because he was like, hey, I'm just digital with my movies now completely, I think. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah. He's like, not Netflix or anything like that, but iTunes, and this is true, actually, iTunes you can buy brand new movies. Some of them,
Yeah.
sometimes they're available there before Blu-ray or any of that stuff, and they get them early. Like Bad Grandpa has been on there for 3 weeks already.
Right.
And he's like, I just buy them on here because now...
And it's in HD, right?
It's an HD, full HD, and what Apple TV can do that it didn't used to was now you can watch them immediately. They stream to you. You own them. They're not going anywhere. So
Right.
it's, oh, hey, you bought Bad Grandpa, you hit it, and it's immediately on.
Streaming.
Yeah, you can access any movie you've ever bought at any time on iTunes from Apple TV. So he's like, that for me is just more convenient, so I'm doing that. And that is more convenient for him. That's great. But the thing is, for me, is, once again, I don't know what's going to happen with Apple TV in 20 years, so I do want to own that. But in addition to that, I am the kind of person that I want the Bad Grandpa Blu-ray because it is all the Jackass guys and all the shit they cut out.
Yeah.
It's going to be hours of that. They've already said that that's all on there.
Deleted
And
scenes.
hours of stuff that they didn't put in and stuff like that. I'm the person who watches all that shit.
Yeah.
And I can't get that, so I'm not interested. That's me. But Dominic doesn't do that, so.
I was just thinking, because I was looking at my stuff in my house lately, and I was like, I need to get all these DVDs and just get them out of here. Put them in the garage or something.
Sure.
I mean, I love the movie, but I don't need to look at Wayne's World every day.
But Wayne's World is one of those things too. Yeah, you can easily. That's not that's not a Lord of the Rings type
No,
deal where
exactly.
where you want to watch the documentary with it and
Right,
all that
of
stuff.
course,
you
of
can get that
course.
on Netflix.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like I gotta just like cut things out and just get them out of here.
Simplify.
Simplify.
So that's
And
why I'm
simplify.
asking, what do you people at home do? I'm very curious about this. You go physical, you go digital, email podcast@mega64.com. What's your status with that?
Before you move on, Eric's been playing a physical copy of an old PS3 game.
Segue.
I've been playing Vanquish. I never played Vanquish.
Oh, you never did?
No, I never played it. So I started
What
playing
is that?
Vanquish, and
it
it
is
is
shooter by Platinum.
it's really
Directed
man.
by,
Hey, it is the only way I can
Shinji
describe that game is rambunctious. It is so crazy and moves so fast. It's tough to keep up with.
Yeah.
but I'm having a really good time with it.
I
like
had,
it.
for some reason, we had like a weekend off, and I don't know what got into me. Well, it was free on PlayStation Plus, and for some reason, I had never picked it up, and I played through it, the entirety of it, like over a couple days.
Oh, really?
That has Eric. I really hope you finish it. It's not that long.
Yeah.
it really isn't, and it has one of my favorite. The ending of that game. I don't know if. Hey, I'm going to tell you. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's my kind of ending, man. You could take that.
I don't know if I want to keep playing it at this
Yeah,
point.
you just-
I have no idea
No,
what that
legitimately. Hey, legitimately, I think you'll really enjoy it. But I think that I probably laughed harder than you will.
Oh, what the fuck?
I want you to finish it.
Wow, this sounds like it's going to be a bad ending.
Real quick, getting back to this digital
Yeah.
archiving system thing too, I think another point to make, I feel like with every iteration of a new technology and a new way to display these things,
Yeah.
there's a whole wave of projects that get swept away from your availability. And what I mean by that, for example,
Yeah.
is like DVD replaced VHS, and a lot of people got rid of all their VHSs, and they just thought like, oh, I'll just replace all these movies
Yeah,
on DVD.
yeah.
Yeah.
But not every movie that was available on VHS was put on DVD.
Yeah.
Some of those movies were only available on VHS, and if it wasn't successful or popular enough, it never got transferred. And then when they went to Blu-ray, it was only the most popular DVDs that then got put on Blu-ray, so
yeah.
there was a whole nother wave of sweeps. And
Yeah.
I feel like that happens with everything, like with music.
Yeah.
Only the vinyl records that were really popular got put on CD, and only the really popular CDs got put onto the digital
Yeah.
cloud or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you really are limiting what you have access to when you're only using the newest
Do you think-
medium, I think.
Yeah.
Is like 4K gonna replace Blu-ray, or how does that work?
Well, and that's what I was going to say too. Is like I still feel like we're going to need some form of physical thing because. Okay, they figured out 4K streaming. Like the
Yeah.
next HD, they figured it out. Oh, we can do Netflix is saying they're going to do it. We're already equipped to do
that's
it.
crazy.
Okay, great. But they
We need
confirmed the
better internet.
specs, and it's like 10 gigs to stream it of your bandwidth.
That's-
Is your internet company down with that?
They're
Are they
not
You know what I
down with
mean?
that.
And we don't have the infrastructure to handle that. So, yeah, I was reading on a site the other day. They talked about it at CES. It's like, yep, Sony is right now working on a way for a new type of Blu-ray disc
Holy
that holds,
shit.
10
gigs.
400 gigs instead of 50 and whatever. And it's like, well, yeah, so that'll be that. Honestly, once 4K gets big, that's going to be the easiest way to watch it. Is just popping it in.
Right.
Wow. Versus, man, this is not loading. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
yeah.
So right now we're at a good equilibrium
But you know
where you
what?
can stream
It's
it or
too
whatever.
soon.
But, yeah, who knows?
Like, people have just gotten into Blu-rays,
Yeah.
and now we have Blu-ray collections. You can't. I mean, you can't.
well, I don't think that. But like
No,
I
you
said,
can.
I
I
think
think-
it's going to be a tweak on Blu-ray. I don't think it's going to be another format.
I think
You
the
know what
next
I mean?
platforms are just going to keep coming faster and faster and faster, and that's fine if you retain, like, I think me and Rocco, we retain the physical media of that generation.
Yeah, but
So I'll stop buying Blu-rays, and I'll
but
start
I don't
buying...
have a VHS player at my house anymore.
Yeah.
And
See, I like
I need to
having
get
that
one.
old shit. So
I need to
have
get one
VHS.
because it's just, there's some things that I want to watch.
I'm a pack rat. When I was a little kid, I always imagined like living in a library someday with just all these old books.
Yeah.
The reality is going to be I'm living in a library of old DVDs and VHS.
Yeah.
Well, that's what since I have moved, that's what I love. You guys saw, I've made my little, I have a giant walk-in closet that was too big for me, so
Yeah.
I made it into that is like my bunker.
Yeah.
And that I have my desk in there and all kinds of stuff and just walls of old DVDs. And when I work, I put those on. Like I still
yeah.
will put on, Back of the Y, remember this? And I'll put that on while I work. Just like shitty, sketchy stuff.
Yeah.
No offense to Back of the Y, but you did qualify.
There was an episode in Cowboy Bebop where Spike had to go get a beta player to play this tape that they had to find out about. I think it was like, what's her name's like past.
Oh, spoilers.
Anyway, great episode. But there was this super nerdy dude who lived in this like wet underground.
Yeah.
I remember like a hovel of a place, and he had all his old tape machines and shit. And Spike went to go visit him to. I imagine my house being like that in the future, where it's just an archive of old players and all this old media. And I have like working cassette players, 8-track, record players, VHS.
Yeah. I was going to say, segue real quick.